Hello everyone, once again this is grade 4 Qatar history. We'll continue with Unit 2 Islam and the Arabian Gulf region and the second part of Lesson 2, the spread of Islam in the Arabian Gulf region and Qatar, particularly Qatar's role in the movement of Islamic conquests. Objectives: discuss the reign of the Caliphate and its roles in spreading Islam throughout the Gulf, and conclude important points in the lesson through summary notes. So let's recall the previous points that we have discussed in the last video. We have the entry of Islam in the Arabian Gulf region and Qatar. So we have discussed about the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, that was decided upon during the 6th Hijri year with the Quraysh. Okay, if you would remember, this would be a treaty of peace between Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Quraysh tribe. They had a period of armistice for 10 years. And also because of this, the Prophet made great efforts to spread Islam outside Hijaz. So this would be the map showing how Islam came to Qatar from the Islamic State Al-Madinah. So last time we have also talked about the Prophet's companion who was instrumental in bringing Islam to Qatar and the neighboring areas in the Arabian Gulf. His name was Al-Ala'a ibn al-Hadrami. So he was the one who persuaded or convinced Munzir ibn Sawa, the ruler of the Arabian Gulf region, to convert to Islam. So the leader accepted, and because of this, many other Arab tribes that lived in the Arabian Gulf region also accepted the Islamic faith. Also, we have talked about the role of people living in Qatar and the Arabian Gulf region in the Islamic conquests. So how were the Qatari instrumental and helpful in spreading Islam? So firstly, during the reign of the righteous Caliphs or the Rashidun, right? So the Muslims had to spread Islam in other regions and defend it against dangers and enemies. So what was the role of the Qatari people during that time? They were skillful navigators. So they used their ships and their skills to bring the early Muslims around the Arabian Gulf for the purpose of jihad. Okay, so if you would recall what we have here in the map, this is the army route to Iraq and Persia, led by the commanders or the military leaders Khalid ibn al-Walid, okay, and Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas. Right, so Khalid's journey would be represented by the red lines over here. From Al-Madinah, he has brought Islam to this area north of the Arabian Gulf, okay, and towards Syria. And for Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, his conquest being represented by the purple line, he has brought Islam from Al-Madinah to Iran. So once more, the Qatari people helped support the first naval ships that carried Muslims for the purpose of the Holy War. Okay, and during the rule of the righteous Caliphs, there was also the conquest of Iraq and Persia, which is now known as modern-day Iran. So now let's talk about the role of the Qatari people in the Islamic conquest, especially during the reign of the Umayyad Caliphs. Okay, so the Umayyad Caliphate or Islamic State had the capital in Damascus, Syria. That was their base of power. So under the rule of the Umayyad Caliphs, Indus and Transoxiana were conquested. Okay, so Transoxiana would be modern-day Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan. So at the beginning of the Umayyad Caliphate rule, Islamic trade grew in the Arabian Gulf and the Indian Ocean region. So part of the Islamic conquest was trade, of course, because you get to interact with people from different areas. So because of this, economic prosperity was also experienced by states in that region. After the reign of the Umayyad Caliphs, we had the reign of the Abbasid Caliphs. Okay, so the Abbasid Caliphate during that time was the center of science, culture, and philosophy, and the capital was set in Baghdad. So under the rule of the Abbasid Caliphs, Qatar and the Arabian Gulf region went through a period of wealth or economic prosperity. And because of this, Qatar became an important trade center along with other areas on the eastern Arabian Peninsula coast. And we're also going to present you with the timeline of Islamic rule since the time of the Prophet until the Abbasid period. So let's take a look at the map right here, showing us the prosperous economy and trade during the reign of the Rashidun Caliphs and Islamic conquests, right? So you would see Qatar has a very strategic position in terms of trade because it's at the center of everything. So you have Persia towards this area, towards the northeast, and then you have Iraq towards the northwest, the Gulf of Oman towards the south. So Qatar, being the center of trade, okay, also helped in terms of navigation, spread of Islam using ships and travel by sea. Okay, so the Islamic State in the reign of the Rashidun Caliphs would be represented by the green colored areas of the map right here. Okay, while the Islamic conquests in Transoxiana, meaning India, Afghanistan, and Pakistan in modern day, and also the Indus lands would be represented by purple color in the map. So let's summarize our lesson. This timeline shows the flow of events from the Islamic rule, establishment of Islamic State through the Prophet until the time of the Abbasid Caliphate. Okay, and also we're showing these major events in Hijri. So Hijri was the era used in the Islamic lunar calendar, if you would recall in the previous video. So 624 to 632 AD, or 1 to 11 Hijri year, there was the Islamic rule during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Okay, now going to 633 to 661 AD, or in Hijri year 11 to 41, we have the four caliphs, four righteous caliphs. Okay, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman ibn Affan, and Ali. Okay, next 661 to 750 AD, or 41 to 132 Hijri, marked the Umayyad period. So don't forget that during the Umayyad period, Indus and Transoxiana were conquested. Okay, and at the same time, Qatar became an important trade center. Last, from 750 to 1258 AD, or in Hijri year 132 to 656, we had the Abbasid period, wherein the Arabian Gulf region went through a period of economic prosperity. So remember that after Prophet Muhammad established the Islamic State, there was the Hudaybiyah Treaty or Treaty of Peace with the Quraysh. Okay, Al-Ala ibn al-Hadrami was also instrumental in bringing Islam to Qatar and to the rest of the Arabian Gulf region. So the people of the Arabian Gulf accepted Islam, and also they took part in the Islamic conquests, especially during the reign of the righteous caliphs, Umayyad and Abbasid Caliphate. And the citizens of the Arabian Gulf region and Qatar contributed during the Islamic conquests and also in a number of areas through trade. And we know the Qatari to be very skillful navigators, so they were the first to send their naval ships to help the early Muslims for the purpose of jihad. So you can learn more by checking out our reference, Qatar History and Citizenship Grade 4. I will see you in the next video.